Okay. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, let us continue our discussion on the revised Corporation Code of the Philippines. Okay. Uh, Let us distinguish between a stock corporation and a non-stock corporation. Okay, now the first distinction is that as to number of directors sa stock corporation, di ba, is not more than 15. Okay, tinanggal na yung before na not less than 5 but not more than 15. Okay, kasi sa RA 11232 nakalagay is not more than 15. Okay, pero for non-stock corporation, okay, pwede siyang more than 15. Kaya may or may not be more than, okay, 15. Kaya pwedeng more than 15 pagdating sa non-stock corporation. Okay, kung yan ay finix sa Article of Incorporation or sa bylaws. Now second, okay, sa terms of office naman ng corporate directors, okay, sa stock corporation is 1 year until their successor in interest is elected and qualified. Now, i-emphasize ko lang ha, nakalagay dito, okay, elected and qualified. Kaya may tinatawag tayong holdover period. Kasi baka mamaya, elected pala siya, pero hindi pala siya qualified. Kasi halimbawa, hindi pala siya owner ng at least 1 share of stock. Okay? O kaya meron siyang disqualification. Okay? Kaya lumalabas, ikaw pa rin ang director. Okay? Ngayon, pagdating mo sa non-stock corporation, ang terms of office ng trustees, okay, is not more than 3 years. Kaya pwedeng lumalabas, tandaan nyo na lang is 1, 3, 5, 1 for stock, 3 years for non-stock educational corporation, and 5 years for non-stock educational corporation. Now, may mananotice kayo ha. Okay, eto kasi merong nakalagay na ganitong provision before sa Batas Pambansa bilang 68. Okay, na yung 1/3 ng number nila, okay, mag-expire every year. Kaya ibig sabihin if there are 15 trustees, okay, di ba ang terms of office kunwari na 3 years, lumalabas yung unang set of 5 dun, 1 year lang ang terms of office. Another set of 5, 2 years ang terms of office, and another set of 5 is 3 years ang terms of office. However, under RA 11232, it was now deleted. Okay? Wala na nakalagay na ganyang provision. Another is for stock corporation as to purpose. Okay, ang purpose of course ng stock corporation is mag-generate ng profit. Samantalang pag non-stock, not for profit siya. Kumbaga in organization for charitable, cultural, religious, fraternal, professional, okay, literary, scientific, social, civic service, or similar purposes like trade, industry, agricultural, and light chambers, or any combination thereof. Next distinction sa voting, sa stock corporation, we are using the cumulative voting. Kaya ibig sabihin if there are, okay, if you have 1,000 shares and there are 10 director, 1,000 times 10, you have a total of 10,000 votes. And you can concentrate the entire 10,000 votes to one director lang. Okay, I repeat, ang purpose kasi ng batas dyan kung bakit ginawang cumulative voting for stock is to give chance to the minority stockholder to have representative in the board of director. Kasi pwede nilang i-pool lahat ng kanilang votes into one director lang. Okay, however sa non-stock corporation, ang rule kasi dito is okay, non-cumulative. Okay, kaya lumalabas, one member is entitled to one vote. Pero sabi kasi dyan, unless so limited, prompted, or denied, each member, regardless of class, thou shall be entitled to one vote. Pero ang rule is non-cumulative voting din. Halimbawa, meron member ka and there are 10 trustees running. Okay, you have 10 votes. But you cannot concentrate the 10 votes to one trustee. Lumalabas 1 vote lang for each trustee. Okay, pero pwede siyang gawing okay, cumulative voting, okay, kung nakalagay siya sa Article of Incorporation or the bylaws. Okay, manner of voting, sa stock corporation, pwede kayong bumoto either in person or through a written proxy. Ngayon kung halimbawa, di ba, authorized siya class ng bylaws or majority ng board of director, pwede yung tinatawag na voting by absentia. or through remote communication. Okay, sa non-stock corporation, okay, pwede kayong bumoto syempre also in person. Okay, pwede rin through a proxy kung yan ay nakalagay sa Article of Incorporation or bylaws. Okay, or pwede rin siyang through a remote communication. Okay, if that is authorized by the bylaw. Pero mapapansin mo, yung provision na to, dinilit na to. Dati sa Batas Pambansa bilang 68, pwede raw siyang by mail or other similar means by members of non-stock corporation may be authorized by the bylaws of a non-stock corporation. Okay, next, sa stock corporation, as to distribution of dividend, syempre sa stock corporation, authorized kayo mag-distribute ng dividend and surplus profit based on number of shares held. Pero sa non-stock corporation, bawal kasing mag-distribute ng dividend. Kaya sabi dito sa Section 86 ng RA 11232, no part of his income is distributable as dividend to its members, trustees, or officers. Next distinction, sa stock corporation regarding transferability of shares, ang rule is pag stock, transferable siya. Pero pag non-stock, ang rule is non-transferable siya. Pero pwede siyang maging transferable provided authorized siya ng bylaws or the Article of Incorporation. Now, ang reason kasi dito kung bakit non-transferable for non-stock is okay, that is personal daw. Pero ulitin ko, pwede siyang maging transferable kung yan ay authorized ng Article of Incorporation or the bylaws. Okay, next, stock ownership ng director or trustee. Sa stock corporation, dapat owner ka kasi ng at least 1 share of stock. Okay? Pero pagdating sa non-stock, kailangan member ka. Okay? Bago ka maging director. Pero may exception yan ha. Okay? Except independent trustees, okay, vested with public interest. Okay, next. Okay, saan ang place of meeting pagdating sa stock corporation? Okay, ng stockholders meeting. Ang rule is, nakalagay sa batas, is it must be in the principal place of business. Okay, pero kung hindi raw siya practicable, then pwedeng sa within the city or municipality where the principal place of business is located. Okay, pero for purpose of this provision, Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao are considered city or municipality. Pero by the way, class, pag kinompare mo yan sa BP 68 kasi, ang sabi ng batas, okay, saan ba ang place of meeting ng stockholder? Okay, it must be within the city or municipality where the principal place of business is located. And if practicable, it must be in the principal place of business. Pero mapapansin mo dito sa RA 11232, nakalagay talaga dapat it must be in the principal place of business. Pero kung hindi raw practicable, then pwedeng within the city or municipality where the principal place of business is located. Now, kung halimbawa ito naman ay non-stock corporation, mapapansin mo, nag-expand siya anywhere, okay, within the Philippine territory. Kaya ibig sabihin kahit saan within the Philippines. Kaya ibig sabihin ang allowed lang magkaroon ng meeting abroad, of course, is the directors meeting. Okay? Pero once na stockholders meeting or membership meeting in case of non-stock corporation, it must be within the Philippines lang. Pero pagdating sa stock, medyo mas na-limit siya. It must be in the principal place of business. Pero yun nga, kung hindi practicable, then pwedeng within the city or municipality where the principal place of business is located. Okay, another distinction. Okay, pagdating sa election of officers. Sa stock corporation, kasi ang nag-e-elect of course officer is the board. Sila yung nag-e-elect or nag-a-appoint sa officers. Meaning BOD will elect or appoint an officer. Pero sa non-stock corporation kasi, pwedeng lumalabas, yung members ng non-stock corporation may directly elect officers of a non-stock corporation. Okay, pero syempre, unless of course, provided in the Article of Incorporation or in the bylaws. Now, let us proceed now sa subscription contract. Okay, pag sinabing subscription contract, ito yung contract between the corporation and the subscriber, wherein the subscriber will acquire unissued shares of stock. Kaya tandaan nyo, pagdating sa contract of subscription, dapat ang object ng contract must be unissued shares or the original issuance. Kasi kung halimbawa, yan ay issued shares na, hindi yan contract of subscription, maybe That is a contract of sale. Like for instance, treasury shares. Di ba ang treasury shares are company's own shares which already been issued and fully paid but subsequently reacquired by the corporation either by purchase, donation, redemption, or other lawful means. Okay, ang problema, yung treasury shares, ni-reissue. Hindi yan contract of subscription. That is a contract of sale. Now, take note na, ang contract of subscription, hindi yan covered ng statute of fraud. Kasi hindi yan kasama sa enumeration. Okay, sa Article 1403, paragraph number 2. Samantalang ang contract of sale ay covered ng statute of fraud. Kasi di ba sale ng goods, chattel, personal property where the value is 500 pesos and above, it must be in writing, otherwise unenforceable siya. Okay? Kaya tingnan nyo maigi sa problem kung ang object is original issuance or unissued shares. Okay? Kasi otherwise, okay, kung hindi yan unissued shares, hindi yan contract of subscription. That is a contract of sale. Kahit tawagin pa ng contracting parties na yan ay contract of subscription, but if the object of contract is already issued shares, then that is not a contract of subscription, but rather a contract of sale. In fact, sabi ka ng Supreme Court, okay, sabi ng Supreme Court, okay, contract is what the law define it to be, not the name given by the parties. Masusunod yung, okay, substance ng agreement. Hindi yung pangalan na binigay ng parties kasi ang nagde-define ng kontrata ay batas. Okay? Ngayon, sabi niyan, holders of subscribed shares not fully paid which are not delinquent shall have all the rights of a stockholder. Now, mayroon akong gustong i-emphasize dito. Okay, ano ba ang pinagkaiba or distinction between a fully paid subscriber and unpaid subscriber? Answer, with respect to the rights, okay, they are the same. Okay, parehas lang sila ng right kasi yung unpaid subscriber, meron din niyang right to vote, the right to be voted, the right to inspect corporate books and records, and all other rights of the stockholder. Okay, kaya halimbawa, nagkaroon ng declaration of dividend, ang bayad lang niya is 50% pa lang ng subscription price, okay, or subscription contract. Now, lumalabas dito, hindi ibig sabihin kalahati lang ang dividend niya. Hindi ibig sabihin kalahati lang ang kanyang right to vote. Okay, or voting powers. Kaya lahat ng right ng fully paid subscriber, ganun din ang right ng unpaid subscriber. Except that, okay, if you are a fully paid subscriber, you may now demand for the issuance of the certificate of stock. Samantalang pag unpaid subscriber ka, hindi ka pwedeng mag-demand, okay, ng issuance ng certificate of stock. Kasi under the law, under Section 63, na dating Section 64, under BP 68, no certificate of stock shall be issued until and unless the entire subscription price is fully paid. Kaya bawal mag-issue ng proportionate, okay, issuance ng certificate of stock. Kasi kailangan fully paid muna, okay, bago makapag-issue ng certificate of stock. Kaya kahit ilagay mo yan sa corporate bylaws na pwedeng mag-issue ng proportionate certificate of stock, that is not allowed. That is void. Okay, because it will conflict the provision under the corporation. Pero malaki ang distinction between unpaid subscriber and the delinquent shareholder. Kasi pag ikaw ay dineclared as delinquent shareholders, lahat ng right mo stockholders mawawala except may naiwang isa, the right to dividend. Ngayon, pagdating sa cash dividend, automatic o offset siya. Kasi ang reason, the corporation and the delinquent subscriber are principal debtor and creditor with each other. That's why offsetting is proper. Compensation is proper. Pero pagdating sa stock dividend, okay, hindi siya pwedeng i-offset. Because the reason is that the corporation and the delinquent subscriber are not principal debtor and creditor with each other. That's why offsetting is not allowed. Kaya nga di ba pagdating sa cash dividend, ang journal entry natin sa accounting is debit kayo ng retained earnings, credit kayo ng cash dividend payable, and that is a liability account. That's why the corporation is setting up an obligation, a liability. Okay? Pero pagdating sa stock dividend, ang journal entries debit retained earnings and credit is stock dividend distributable. But take note, the stock dividend distributable is not a liability account. but rather it is only transferred from retained earnings papuntang paid-up capital. Kaya ibig sabihin, walang obligation yung corporation. That's why offsetting is not proper. Kaya hindi pwede ang compensation. Remember sa obligation and contract, there is compensation when two persons in their own right are principal, debtor, and creditor with each other. Okay, now punta tayo sa pre-incorporation subscription. Sabi dyan, a subscription of shares in a corporation is still to be formed. Kasi dito halimbawa, wala pang na-form na corporation. Ang question kasi dito, pag halimbawa nagkaroon ng agreement among the incorporators na magsusubscribe sila, okay, ng shares, okay, ng corporation is still to be formed. Pwede ba siyang i-revoke? Answer, okay, syempre, before masubmit yung article of incorporation before the SEC, okay, sabi ng batas, irrevocable daw siya for a period of at least 6 months from the date of subscription. Pero meron dalawang exception dito. Okay, number 1, lahat daw ng subscriber nag-consent sa revocation. At second, the corporation fails to incorporate within the same period. Okay, within the same period meaning within 6 months or within a longer period stipulated in the contract of subscription. Kaya kung hindi siya nag-materialize within that period or based do sa period na naka-indicate sa contract of subscription, then pwede siyang i-revoke. Now, pero sabi ng batas, after submission ng article of incorporation sa SEC, no pre-incorporation subscription may be revoked. Kaya ibig once na-submit na yung article of incorporation sa Securities and Exchange Commission, wala nang pwedeng i-revoke, okay, na pre-incorporation subscription. Now, what are valid consideration for the issuance of stock? Okay, sabi dyan, stock shall not be issued for consideration less than par or issued price thereof. Kasi tandaan nyo, pag nag-issue kayo ng shares of stock less than par, then we called it a watered share. Pero I mentioned it already before that okay, yung lumalabas na watered shares, nag-a-apply yan pag par value shares kasi. Pag in-issue mo less than par, watered siya. Pero take note, nag-a-apply lang yan sa original issuance, but not with respect to treasury shares. Kasi ang treasury shares, pwede mo siyang i-issue less than par as long as the price is reasonable. Okay? Now, pero kung yan ay original issuance, tapos in-issue mo yan less than par, then watered siya for the difference between the issuance price and the pertinent par value. Pero kung halimbawa, no par value siya, okay, at yung non-cash consideration received ay in-overvalued nyo, then that is also a watered share. Ngayon, ano ba ang valid consideration for the issuance ng shares of stock? Una, syempre is cash. Pangalawa, pwedeng property, real, personal, tangible, intangible. Okay? Tapos next, labor performed, okay, for or services actually rendered. Ibig sabihin, dapat actually rendered na. Kasi kung halimbawa, future services pa lang to, hindi yan valid consideration. Kasi sabi ng batas, hindi pwedeng maging consideration ng issuance of stock, okay, ang promissory note saka future services. Pero kung past services na siya, okay, valid consideration. Another is previously incurred indebtedness of the corporation, meaning past obligation. Kaya kung future obligation siya, hindi rin pwede. Amount transferred from unrestricted retained earnings to stated capital, like stock dividend. Di ba ang stock dividend is transferred from RE, okay, to paid up capital. Outstanding shares exchange for stock in the event of reclassification or conversion. Kaya convertible shares, transfer mo. Shares of stock in another corporation. Okay, by the way class, yung letter G and H nga pala, since naka-bold siya, dinagdag yan sa RA 11232. Wala pa yan before sa Batas Pambansa bilang 68. Okay, pero sa accounting, of course, nire-recognize na naman natin siya. Diba? Shares of stock in another corporation. Kaya exchange tayo ng stock. Okay, meaning yung stock na i-issue ko, papalitan ng another stock ng another corporation. Okay, at ito, dumping ground, other generally accepted form of consideration. Ngayon, sabi dyan, when the consideration is other than actual cash daw, ito nag-a-apply ito pag ang consideration is non-cash. Okay, such as, okay, or intangible property, such as patent or copyright, Sabi diyan, okay, syempre may problema sa valuation diyan kasi non-cash consideration nga or intangible property. Sabi diyan, it shall initially be determined raw by, dati kasi sa Batas Pambansa bilang 68, ang nakalagay na terms diyan ay incorporators. Pero under RA 11232, binago siya. Ginawa na siyang term as stockholders. And I think mas appropriate na gamitin yung stockholders. Kasi kung halimbawa, what if yung incorporators, dinispose nila yung shares nila? Hahanapin nyo pa ba yung original incorporators, di ba? Kaya I think mas appropriate na gamitin yung stockholders rather than the incorporators. Or pwede siyang i-determine rin ng Board of Director subject to the approval ng Security and Exchange Commission. Ngayon, sabi nga dito, shares of stock shall not be issued in exchange for promissory note. Kaya tandaan nyo ha, bawal i-issue ang capital stock ng consideration ay promissory note or future services. Ngayon, how about pagdating sa NOPAR? Pag NOPAR kasi, sino ba ang take note na pag NOPAR kasi, wala siyang nominal value na naka-indicate sa article of incorporation as well as in the certificate of stock. Pero take note, even they are no par value shares, but always meron tayong tinatawag na issued value or issued price. Sino magde-determine ito? Number one, pwede siyang i-fix kasi sa article of incorporation. Or pwede rin siyang i-fix ng board of director pursuant to the authority conferred by the article of incorporation or the bylaws. If not so fixed daw, then pwedeng i-determine yan ng stockholder representing at least majority ng outstanding capital stock in a meeting called for that purpose. Tandaan nyo, called for the purpose. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon kayo ng special meeting ng stockholder, tapos nakalagay doon sa agenda, doon sa notice of meeting nyo, as well as sa agenda, na nag-call kayo ng meeting in order to determine the issued price of no par value. Now, pakitandaan na lang ito kasi kailangan natin yung mga votings, di ba? Okay? Importante yung voting requirement kasi laging tinatanong sa board exam. Kaya ang voting requirements natin dito is majority ng outstanding capital stock. Okay? Para i-determine yung issuance price ng no par value. Now, next. Sabi dyan, shares of stock so issued are personal property daw and may be transferred by delivery of the certificate or certificates endorsed by the owner, his attorney in fact, or any other person legally authorized to make the transfer. Kasi tandaan nyo, ang shares of stock are transferable. Sometimes we call it a quasi-negotiable instrument, but these are non-negotiable instruments. Kasi hindi naman niya na-meet yung requirement ng Section 1 of Act 2031 or the Negotiable Instrument Law. Kasi hindi naman siya, it does not contain unconditional promise or order to pay a sum certain in money. Pero, meron siyang ability na i-transferred from one person to another by delivering the certificate of stock and it must be properly endorsed. Pero sabi dito no transfer however shall be valid except as between the parties until the transfer is recorded in the book of the corporation showing the names of the parties to the transaction, date of the transfer, the number of the certificate or certificate, and the number of shares transferred. Example lang. Halimbawa, I own 10,000 shares of stock of ABC Corporation. Ang ginawa ko, binenta ko ngayon kay B. And I execute a deed of sale in a public instrument. Now, ang question is that, is the sale between A and B valid? Wala siyang consent ng corporation. The answer, of course, is yes. That is valid. Perfectly valid siya. But take note, the sale is binding only between the seller and the buyer, pero hindi siya binding in so far as the corporation is concerned until the same is recorded in the stock and transfer book. Kaya, ibig sabihin ko, ikaw si buyer, para maging binding yan doon sa corporation, kailangan ma-record muna siya. Kaya pupunta ka doon sa corporation, syempre, i-represent mo of course doon yung certificate of stock na properly endorsed ng vendor. Tapos para ma-record na yan sa stock and transfer book. Kaya hanggat di siya recorded sa stock and transfer book, ang i-recognize pa rin ng corporation okay, na may right as stockholder, of course, is still the stockholders of record. Now, the commission daw may require corporation whose securities are traded in trading market and which can reasonably demonstrate their capability to do so to issue their securities or shares of stock in uncertificated or scriptless form in accordance with the rules of the commission. Kasi yung mga corporation na traded and listed sa stock exchange, syempre meron tayong uncertificated or scriptless form checks. Now, no shares of stock against which the corporation hold any unpaid claim shall be transferable in the book of the corporation. Kaya ibig sabihin kung meron pang unpaid, claims dyan, hindi yan pwedeng i-transfer sa book ng corporation. Ngayon, ito, Section 63, laging natatanong yan before. Now, Section 63 ngayon na dating Section 64 under Batas Pambansa bilang 68. Nang sinasabi nga, no certificate of stock shall be issued to a subscriber until the full amount of the subscription together with interest and expenses in case of delinquent shares, if any, is due, has been paid. Kaya lumalabas, bawal kayong mag-issue ng proportionate certificate of stock. Okay, pero by the way class, prior to Batas Pambansa bilang 68, merong isang case na sabi ng Supreme Court, valid yung pag-issue ng proportionate certificate of stock. Pero take note, that was happen prior to the effectivity of Batas Pambansa bilang 68. That is prior to effectivity ng BP 68. Ang problema, when BP 68 took effect, nakalagay sa Section 64 na no certificate of stock shall be issued until and unless the entire subscription price is fully paid. And under RA 11232, na-carry forward lang yan, under Section 63. Kaya ibig sabihin, yung sinasabi ng Supreme Court na yung nangyaring case na yon, prior to BP 68 yun. Valid siya, provided number 1, nakalagay sa corporate bylaws, and second, inapprove ng majority ng Board of Directors. Pero ang problema, pag yan ay nilagay mo ngayon, sa corporate bylaws, hindi na siya valid because of Section 64 of BP 68 na nasa Section 63 ng Republic Act 11232. Kasi napaka-clear ng Section 63 ngayon, na bawal kayo mag-issue ng proportionate certificate of stock. Now, liability of directors for watered stock. Now, sino ba ang liable for the issuance ng watered stock? Answer, yung director daw na nag-consent. Ibig sabihin, pag ikaw ay director or officer na nag-consent for the issuance ng watered share, kailan nga siya watered? Kung par value, in-issued less than par. Kung yan ay no par naman, lumalabas, or kung non-cash consideration, kunwari yung na-receive natin, in-overvalued nyo. Kaya yan consent. Pangalawa, is yung director na may knowledge, na merong insufficient consideration pero hindi ka nag-file ng opposition in writing before the corporate secretary. O example lang. Halimbawa, there are 5 directors, A, B, C, D, E. Nagkaroon for instance ng board meeting. Inauthorize ang issuance ng original issuance. Kunwari ang pertinent par value niya is 10 pesos, pero inauthorize na i-issue lang ito for 8 pesos. Ang nag-approve is A, B, C, tapos si D, E is nag-abstain. Ngayon, ang problema si D, nag-file siya ng opposition in writing before the corporate secretary. Itong si Dedma, walang ginawa. Kaya sinong liable for the issuance ng watered shares? Answer, si ABC na nag-consent. And of course, kasama si A. Kasi sabi ng batas, pag ikaw ay director o officers na may knowledge ka ng issuance ng shares of stock, kailangan mo mag-file ng opposition in writing before the corporate secretary. Otherwise, kasama kang liable solidary. Now, take note ang liability dito is solidary. Remember, exception yan sa general rule. Kasi remember ang general rule, the obligation is merely joint pursuant to Article 1207 ng Civil Code. Kasi di ba sabi doon, the concurrence of two or more creditors or two or more debtors in one the same obligation does not imply that each of the former can collect the entire obligation, neither the latter is liable to pay the entire obligation because there is solidarity only when so provided for by law, stipulation, or nature ng obligation requires solidarity. Okay? Ito ang problema, provision of law yan. Sinasabi, solidary obligation. Now, at ang lalabas dito, liable kayo sa stockholder, okay, for the difference between the value received and okay at the time of issuance of the stock and the par or issued value of the same. Kaya ibig sabihin kung halimbawa, yun nga, 10 pesos yung par value. Ini-issue nyo lang kunwari for 8 pesos. Lumalabas 2 pesos per share yung watered. O liable dyan yung mga directors, okay, as well as na nag-consent, as well as director na may knowledge pero hindi sila nag-file ng opposition in writing before the corporate secretary, they are solidary liable. Okay, now let us proceed now sa right of stockholders to bring suit. By the way, class, meron daw tayong tatlong right ng stockholders to bring suit. Pwedeng number 1 is through a derivative suit, individual suit, at representative. Now, unahin natin yung individual. Sabi dyan, action brought by stockholder against the corporation for direct violation of his contractual right as such as individual stockholders. Any recovery by the stockholders belong to him. Kaya halimbawa, yung board of directors, okay, gumawa ng resolution na directly naapektuhan yung interest or vested right ng specific stockholder. Kunwari si X. Kaya pwedeng mag-file ng suit ngayon si X against the corporation. Okay, kasi direct violation ng right niya. Ang tawag dyan, individual suit. Pero halimbawa, okay, because of the act of the corporation, there are several stockholders affected. Pare-parehas naman yung nag-arise for the same transaction and occurrence at meron silang similar cause of action. Now, ang alam naman mag-file yung each stockholders ng suit against the corporation, di ba? Kaya pwedeng mag-file na lang kunwari yung 5 stockholders in behalf of another stockholders like mga apektuhan din ng mga 500 stockholders. In that case, we called it a representative suit. Kaya sabi dyan when a wrong is committed against a group of stockholders may bring suit in behalf of himself and all other stockholders who are similarly situated. Pero by the way, para magkaroon ng representative suit, dapat nag-arise yan for the same transaction and occurrence at meron kayong similar cause of action. Ngayon, kailan naman nagkakaroon ng derivative suit? Okay, ganito kasi yan. Ito yung concept ng derivative suit. Halimbawa, this is X corporation. Okay? Basta X corporation yan. Ang hirap kasi magsulat dito sa mouse. Okay, tapos ito yung BOD. Ang problema, ito yung kunwari sa stockholders, mga stockholders to. Kunwari, the board of director mismanaged the corporation. That's why na-damage yung corporation. Kaya ang tanong kasi, sinong dapat magdemanda sa board? Answer, dapat yung corporation. But remember, a corporation is a fiction of law. It means they cannot act without an agent. And the agent of the corporation is the board. But the problem is that the board of director is the one who caused damage to the corporation. Kaya sino magdidemanda sa board? Hindi dapat nga korporasyon. Ang kaso, ang corporation, fiction of law, they cannot act without an agent. And sino bang agent ng corporation? Board. Pero yung board ang nag-cause ng damage doon sa corporation. Hindi tayo matatapos yan. Kaya lumalabas, pwede bang idemanda ng stockholder ang board of director in their own name? The answer is no. Kasi pag dinemanda ng stockholder ang board of director in their own name, dismiss kagad ang kaso nyo for lack of cause of action. Kasi ang unang tanong kagad dyan, sino bang na-damage dito? Answer, stockholder? Hindi, di ba? Ang na-damage dito, of course, is the corporation. Okay, at ang damage ng corporation ay hindi damage ng stockholders and vice versa. That is the doctrine of separate juridical personality. Kaya dapat ang gawin ng stockholder dito, mag-file sila ng suit against the board of director, pero dapat not in their own name, but in the name of the corporation. Kaya ang tawag natin dyan ay derivative suit. Okay? Okay? Now, normally, ang derivative suit, ito yung ine-exercise ng minority stockholder against majority stockholders. Okay? yung mga majority members ng board. Kasi nga, okay, lumalabas either, yun nga, mismanage ng board of director. Kumbaga na-damage kasi yung corporation dito. Ang problema, okay, walang recourse yung stockholder. Kasi hindi sila pwedeng mag-file ng suit in their own name. Kaya under the corporation law, pwede silang mag-file ng suit, pero dapat in the name of the corporation. Or pwedeng another scenario is this. Ito yung corporation, ito si Y Corporation. Dinamage ni Y Corporation yung Corporation X. Ang problema, ayaw mag-file ng suit ng BOD against Y. Kaya sino dala-damage dito? Corporation. Kaya dapat ang magdemanda kay Y yung corporation. Pero ang problema, yung board of director ng X corporation ayaw mag-file ng suit against Y corporation. Hindi naman pwedeng mag-act yung corporation without an agent kasi ang agent nga ng corporation is the board of director. Kaya pwedeng mag-file ng suit ang stockholders ng X corporation kay Y, pero dapat it must be in the name of the corporation. Dapat nakapangalan sa korporasyon. In that case, we call it a derivative suit. Kaya nakalagay nga dyan is one brought by one or more stockholders or members in the name and on behalf of the corporation to redress wrongs committed against it or to protect or vindicate corporate rights whenever the official of the corporation refuse to sue or are the ones to be sued or hold control of the corporation. Kaya mapapansin mo, dalawa ang senaryong binanggit dito. Okay, una, okay, to redress wrong committed against it. Okay, di ba? Lumalabas dito yan, committed against it or to protect or vindicate corporate rights. Whenever the official, ito yun, official of the corporation refuse to sue. Yan yung una, ayaw mag-file ng okay, board of director ng suit against third person na nag-cause ng damage sa corporation or are the one to be sued or hold control ng corporation. Kasi dito nangyari, yung mismong director ang nag-mismanage ng corporation. Kaya sino magdidemanda dun sa board? Didemanda ba ng board yung sarili nila? Kaya in that case, mag-i-initiate ang stockholder, but I repeat, it must be in the name of the corporation. Okay, now let us proceed now sa remedies for payment of stock subscription. Ganito kasi yan. Halimbawa, si X, nag-subscribe ka ng 1,000 shares. Okay, nag-subscribe si X kay ABC Corporation ng okay, 1,000 shares at 1,000 per share for a total contract price of 1 million. Nagbayad siya ng down payment kunwaring 600,000, there is a balance of 400,000. Ngayon, ang question is, kailan babayaran yung balance? Answer, the balance is payable on the date fixed in the contract of subscription without need of any call. Ibig sabihin ng without need of any call, without any demand coming from the board of director. Kasi pag sinabing call is demand ng BOT. Kaya once nag-arrive yung period na naka-indicate doon sa contract of subscription for the payment ng balance, automatic liable ka for interest. Without need of any demand yan. Sabi mo, sir, paano kung walang nakalagay na period sa contract of subscription for payment ng balance? Di upon call by the board. Ang problema, nag-default ka. Ang question, delinquent ka na ba? The answer is no. Kasi meron niyang 30 days pa eh. Kaya pag nag-due date na siya, hindi ka nagbayad at nag-lapse yung 30 days, doon ka lang i-declared as delinquent share. Ngayon, pag dineclared ka as delinquent share, ano ba ang remedy ng corporation dito para ma-recover yung unpaid subscription? Number 1, extrajudicial, meaning ibebenta yung delinquent shares sa public auction. Pangalawa is judicial, ibig sabihin magfa-file ng case yung corporation against the delinquent subscriber for the unpaid subscription. Kumbaga collection suit yan, collection for the sum of money. Tapos another is collection from cash dividend and withholding of stock dividend. Kaya sabi nga ng section 42 ng RA 11232, any cash dividend due on delinquent stock shall first be applied to the unpaid balance on the subscription plus costs and expenses, while the stock dividend shall be withheld from the delinquent stockholders until his unpaid subscription is fully paid. Kaya tandaan nyo ha, pag kayo ay delinquent shareholders na, lahat ng right mo stockholders mawawala. The right to vote, the right to be voted, the right to inspect corporate books and records, and all other right ng stockholders wala na, except the right to dividend. Sabi ko nga, pag cash dividend, automatic offset because the reason is that the corporation and the delinquent subscriber are principal, debtor, and creditor with each other. Pero pag stock subscription, hindi siya pwedeng i-offset. Kaya ang remedy ng corporation, i-withheld lang until full payment ng entire subscription price. Tapos another remedy is to deny delinquent shares the right to vote. Kasi tandaan nyo, sabi ko sa inyo kanina, kapag kayo ay dineclared as delinquent shares, lahat ng right mo stockholders mawawala except the right to dividend pursuant to Section 42. Kaya sabi dyan, to deny delinquent shares the right to vote, no delinquent stock shall be voted for, be entitled to vote, or be represented at any stockholders meeting, nor shall the holder thereof be entitled to any of the rights of a stockholder except the right to dividend. Kaya tandaan nyo, ang right lang ay dividend lang. Pag cash, offset. Pag stock, i-withheld until full payment ng entire subscription price. Okay, now ito yung procedure sa extrajudicial. Sabi dyan, okay, ganito kasi yan illustration mo na ha. Halimbawa si Juan de la Cruz, nag-subscribe siya sa corporation. Nag-enter siya ng contract of subscription with ABC Corporation to acquire unissued shares na 1,000 shares at 1,000 per share for a total contract price of 1 million. Nagbayad siya ng down payment na 400,000. On course, the balance is 600,000. Ang tanong, kailan babayaran yung balanse? Answer, the balance is payable on the date fixed in the contract of subscription without need of any call. Kaya kung nakalagay doon kunwari na September 1, 2020, o ibig sabihin dapat bayaran niya na September 1, 2020 without need of any demand coming from the board. Sabi mo, sir, paano kung walang date na nakalagay sa contract of subscription? Di upon call by the board. Kaya ibig sabihin, upon demand by the board of director. Ngayon, pag halimbawa nakaset na date doon, kunwari di September 1, hindi siya nagbayad rito. Delinquent shares na ba siya? The answer is no. Kasi meron pa siyang 30 days. Pero pag laglapse yung 30 days dito lang siya i-declared as delinquent shares. Pero pag default niya dito, okay, pwedeng mag-demand na ngayon dito yung corporation nung entire balance. Okay, plus interest. Okay, na legal rate. Now, ilan ba ang legal rate natin? Before is 12% prior to July 1, 2013. However, starting July 1, 2013 and onward, pursuant to BSP Circular 799, lumalabas dito, okay, ang legal rate na natin is now 6%. Okay? Kaya lumalabas, okay, liable yung subscriber for legal rate. Unless of course merong specific interest rate na nakalagay sa corporate bylaws. Ngayon, pag halimbawa, nag-default siya dito, i-declare na siyang delinquent. Kaya dito, considered ka pa as unpaid subscriber. Kaya lahat ng right ng stockholders, meron ka pa. The right to vote as well as the right to be voted. Pero once na ikaw ay dineclared as delinquent shares, hindi ka na entitled ng right ng stockholder. By the way, para may isang question yan before sa bar exam, nag-run siya as director dito. Hindi pa naglalapse yung 30 days. But may nag-oppose. According to the opposing party, hindi raw siya qualified mag-run as director. Ang question is that, is the contention of the other party correct? Of course, the answer is no. Kasi qualified pa siyang mag-run as director dito. Kasi hindi pa naman siya delinquent subscriber. Hindi pa siya delinquent shares. Pero kung lumagpas na yung 30 days at dineclared ka ng delinquent shares, hindi ka na pwedeng mag-run as director sapagkat wala ka ng right ng stockholder. Kaya sabi dito payment of unpaid subscription or any percentage thereof together with interest accrued shall be made on the date specified in the subscription contract. Kaya babayaran mo daw dito yung okay balance okay on the date fixed in the contract of subscription. Okay, kung may date, kung wala, edi upon call by the board. Now, failure to pay on such date daw shall render the entire balance due and payable. Kaya once nag-default ka dito, yung entire balance na 600,000 magiging due and demandable yan. At liable ka for interest at legal rate nga. 6% starting July 1, 2013. Now, and of course, lumalabas, liable ka for interest na 6%, pero kung prior yan, syempre is 12%. Now, kaya lumalabas dito, balikan natin to. Legal rate on such balance unless of course may different rate nga na nakalagay sa corporate bylaws. Now, the interest shall be computed raw from the date specified until full payment of the subscription. Ngayon, sabi dito, if no payment is made within 30 days daw. Kaya tandaan nyo ha, okay, crucial yan, 30 days na yan. Kasi hanggat lumalagpas yung 30 days, considered ka pa rin as unpaid subscriber lang, hindi pa delinquent shareholder. Sabi dyan, all stock covered by the subscription shall thereupon becomes delinquent and shall be subject to sale as hereafter provided unless the board of director orders otherwise. Now, may question lang ako sa inyo. Bakit nakalagay dyan sa batas na unless the board of director orders otherwise? Kasi, hindi naman mandatory na kapag dineclared as delinquent shares yan, ibibenta sa public auction. Kasi may option yung board of directors, okay, na i-exercise yung judicial remedy. Kaya hindi na i-order yung sale sa public auction, but rather fa-filean ka ng case for collection of sum of money. Kaya ang in-exercise na remedy doon, judicial remedy yun. Pero kung nag-decide for instance yung board of director na ibenta na lang yung delinquent shares sa public auction, extrajudicial remedy yun. Kaya ibig sabihin kung nag-decide yung board of director na ibenta sa public sale yan, kailangan gumawa ang board of director ng board resolution na o-order yung sale. Tapos, i-schedule yung sale not earlier than 30 days daw but not more than 60 days. From the date, the stock becomes delinquent. Ngayon, sabi dito, yung copy ng board resolution is-send dyan sa each delinquent shareholder. Pwedeng personally or pwedeng through a registered mail daw. Tapos, okay, kailangan dito ng publication for 2 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation daw in the province or city where the principal office of the corporation is located. Now, sabi dyan, unless the delinquent stockholders pay to the corporation on or before the date is specified for the sale of delinquent stock. Kasi ganito yan eh. Oo nga, dineclared ka ng delinquent shares. Pero ang problema, bago ibenta sa public sale, nag-decide yung delinquent shareholder na bayaran yung entire balance plus accrued interest. Okay, lumalabas dito, cost of advertisement and expense of sale. O kaya naman, or unless the board of director otherwise orders the delinquent stock shall be sold at public auction daw. Okay, kasi dito walang mangyayaring public sale dyan kung binayaran siya nung delinquent shareholder bago magkaroon ng sale. Pero kung halimbawa walang nangyari, i-order siyempre yung sale sa public sale. Ngayon, hahanapin dito yung highest bidder. Sino ba yung highest bidder? Yung highest bidder, ito yung nag-offer na bayaran yung unpaid subscription together with the accrued interest, publication cost, and expense of sale for the smallest number of shares or fraction of shares. Now, bakit yung smallest number of shares? Bakit siya ang highest bidder, hindi highest number? Kasi pag smallest number of shares yung kukunin niya, mas malaki yung mapupunta kasi dun sa original subscriber. Kaya para maging highest bidder ka, smallest number of shares. By the way, dalawang requirement ang highest bidder. Ikaw yung nag-offer na bayaran yung unpaid subscription together with the accrued interest, publication cost, and expense of sale. And second requirement for the smallest number of shares. Okay, sabi mo, sir, sandali. Paano kung number of shares na kukunin niya pinakamababa pero ayaw naman niyang bayaran yung buo? Hindi ka pa rin magiging highest bidder. Kasi para maging highest bidder ka, dapat ma-meet mo yung dalawang requirement. Okay, sabi mo, sir, paano pag walang highest bidder? In that case, the corporation can acquire its own share. In that case, it becomes a treasury stock. Now, sabi dyan, the stocks of purchase shall be transferred to such purchaser in the book of the corporation, and a certificate for such stock shall be issued in the purchaser's favor. The remaining shares, though, if any, shall be credited in favor of the delinquent stockholder, who shall likewise be entitled to the issuance of certificate of stock covering such shares. Sabi dyan, should be no bidder at public auction kasi dito walang highest bidder kunwari, walang nag-bid. Okay? Para bayaran yung full balance daw ng subscription together with accrued interest, cost of advertisement, and expense of sale for the smallest number of shares or fraction of shares, the corporation may subject to provision of this code bid for the same. Kaya ibig sabihin, pwedeng yung mismong corporation ang mag-acquire. Provided, dapat may balanse kayo ng unrestricted retained earnings. Kasi remember, ang isang requirement, di ba, pag nag-acquired kayo ng treasury stock, dapat may balance kayo ng unrestricted retained earnings, otherwise violation siya ng trust fund doctrine. Tapos sabi dyan, title to all the shares of stock covered by the subscription shall be vested in the corporation as treasury shares and may be disposed of by said corporation in accordance with the provision of this code. Kaya pwede nyo i-reissue ang treasury shares, okay, even less than par, provided the amount or the price must be reasonable lang. Ngayon, ano ba ang effect ng delinquency? Binanggit ko na sa inyo yan kanina. Sabi ko nga, pag kayo ay dineclared as delinquent shares, lahat ng right ng stockholders mawawala. Wala kang right to vote, hindi ka na rin entitled to be, okay, voted, meaning you're not entitled to vote, you're not entitled to be voted, okay, hindi ka rin pwedeng i-represent at any stockholders meeting or entitled to any of the right of the stockholder. Kaya totally, lahat ng right ng stockholders mawawala. Pero may naiwan isa nga, except the right to dividend. Okay, next, punta naman tayo sa book to be kept. Sabi dyan, every corporation shall keep and carefully preserve in its principal office all information relating to the corporation, including but not limited to the following. Actually, in-expand lang ng RA 1123 to. Daming dinagdag. Okay? Kaya lumalabas, dapat meron kayong copy na ng Article of Incorporation and Bylaws, including all its amendments. Okay? Ito, dinagdag lahat yan, naka-black na yan, or naka-bold. Dito, lumalabas dati na yan eh. Minutes of meeting ng stockholders, minutes of meeting ng board of directors. Okay, ngayon ganito. As well as stock and transfer book. Ngayon ganito. Ang rule kasi is that, sino bang pwedeng mag-inspect ng corporate books? Answer, directors, any directors, trustee in case of non-stock. Okay, stockholders, members. Okay, lahat daw yan ay entitled, including representative. Kaya ibig sabihin, pwedeng i-exercise ang right to inspect corporate books and records through an agent. By the way, may isang case na yan, class yung case ng Philpot. Ang nangyari sa case na yun, mayroong stockholder, gusto niya mag-inspect ng corporate books and records through an agent. Pero pinagbawalan siya ng corporation. Kasi sabi ng corporation, hindi ka pwedeng mag-inspect ng corporate books and records because these are personal daw. Purely personal. Kaya dapat siyang mag-inspect personally. Kaya nagkaroon ng case before the Supreme Court. Ang naging issue lang ay pwede bang i-exercise ang right to inspect corporate books and records through an agent. Sabi ng Supreme Court is yes. Kasi walang nakalagay na provision sa corporation law na bawal ang pag-inspect ng corporate books and records through an agent, kaya in-apply yung general rule. Now, sabi ng Supreme Court, whatever a man may do in person, it can be done through an agent. Kaya lahat ng pwede mong gawin in person, pwedeng agent ang mag-act in your behalf. Okay? Kaya pwede siyang i-exercise through a representative. Now, kailan mo siya pwedeng at reasonable hour daw on business day. Okay? Reasonable hour. Ano ba yung reasonable hour? Okay? Siguro, opening mga 8 to 5. Wag lang siyang unreasonable. On business day and a demand in writing may be made by such director, trustee, or stockholder at their expense for copies of such record or excerpt from said record. Ngayon, sino ba ang hindi pwede mag-inspect ng corporate books and records? Okay, ito, bago to specifically, nakalagay dito, syempre kung hindi ikaw ang stockholders of record. Kasi bago mo makapag-inspect, syempre dapat stockholders of record ka. Pangalawa, mga competitor. And of course, another is director, officer, controlling stockholder, or otherwise represent the interest of competitor. Kaya yung mga yan, okay, specifically they are not allowed or they cannot inspect the corporate books and records. They cannot demand for the reproduction of its records. Ngayon, ito bagong provision to. Kasi ganito yan eh. Kapag halimbawa yung directors, prevent for instance yung any director or stockholder na mag-inspect ng corporate books. Under BP 68, may penalty of fine and imprisonment yan dati. Paano kung halimbawa yung stockholders naman ay nag-abuse ng pag-exercise ng right to inspect? Walang nakalagay na provision before sa BP 68. Ngayon meron na. Kaya dito ang sinasabi, kapag yung stockholders daw dito, in-abuse niya yung exercise niya ng right to inspect corporate books, then meron siyang fine ranging from 5,000 to 2 million. Ang laki. Okay, and not more than 1,000, okay, for each day of continuing violation, but in no case to exceed 2 million pesos. Without prejudice or provision of intellectual property. Kasi baka mamaya meron kayong mga dinisclose na mga secret trade. okay, nung corporation. Lumalabas dyan, violation ng intellectual property, okay, or kaya Data Privacy Act of 2012. By the way, let us compare ha. Dati kasi sa BP 68, pag halimbawa yung director, ayaw niyang ipa-inspect yung corporate books without any justifiable reason. Ang remedy class ng director stockholder, pwede silang mag-file ng action for damages against the director na ayaw magpa-inspect ng corporate books. Tandaan nyo ha, kapag yung prohibition to inspect corporate books is through a board resolution, lahat ng nakapirma doon sa board resolution may be held criminally liable under Section 144 ng BP 68. Okay? May criminal liability. Okay, pero kung halimbawa wala namang board resolution dyan, kung sino lang yung director nag-prevent or nag-prohibit pa-inspect yung corporate books and records may be held liable under Section 144. Tingnan mo yung penalty niya na fine na not less than 1,000, meaning ranging from 1,000 to 10,000, or imprisonment of not less than 30 but not more than 5 years. Pwedeng both at the discretion ng court. Pero mapapansin mo, under Batas Pambansa bilang 68, tinanggal yung mga criminal or tinanggal dito class yung penalty of imprisonment. Tumaas lang yung kanyang penalty of fine. Kaya dito, fine ranging from 10,000 to 200,000 at the discretion ng court, take into consideration daw the seriousness of the violation and its implication. Pero sabi dyan, when the violation daw is injurious or detrimental to the public, the penalty is fine ranging from 20,000 to 400,000 without prejudice to the commission exercise of its contempt power. Kaya mapapansin mo, nag-iba yung penalty niya. Tumaas yung fine pero nawala yung imprisonment. Pero take note na kung ako yung director na nag-prevent or nag-prohibit pa-inspect yung corporate books, may valid defense ako dito eh. Ano bang pwede kong gamiting defense? Kasi pwede ka maging liable dun kung prevent mong pa-inspect yung corporate books without any justifiable reason. Kaya dito meron kang defense. Una, okay, nagkaroon ng improper use ng any information daw. Bawa, stockholder si X. Ako yung korporasyon ngayon. May director dun. Nag-inspect ka sa akin ngayon eh. Kaso minususe mo yung information before. Pwedeng i-prevent yan ngayon. Pwedeng i-prevent kang ma-inspect yung corporate books. Or pwedeng ganito. Tanda mo, dalawa binanggit dyan. On such corporation. Or pwedeng pangalawa. Kunwari, si X, stockholder siya ng ABC Corporation at the same time, stockholder siya ng XYZ Corporation. Ngayon, si A, nag-inspect ng XYZ Corporation, minususe niya yung information. Ngayon, gusto niya mag-inspect sa ABC Corporation. Pwede rin siyang i-deny. Kasi nagkaroon siya ng misuse ng information before sa any other corporation. Kaya pwedeng yung mismong korporasyon or nagkaroon ka ng misuse sa any other corporation. Pwede siyang i-deny. Pangalawa, hindi ka raw acting in bad faith. Okay, ibig sabihin, hindi ka acting in good faith in making your demand o kaya for legitimate purpose daw. And last, ito bago. Dinagdag to sa RA 11232. Kung ikaw ay isang competitor, director, officer na may or controlling stockholders daw o kaya nire-represent mo yung interest ng competitor. In that case, disqualified ka. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-inspect, pwedeng i-deny sa'yo ang right to inspect corporate books and records. And that is a valid defense on the part of the director. Okay, right to financial statement. Okay, walang kwentang provision to. By the way, ano lang to kasi ito na bago. If the total asset or total liabilities of the corporation daw are less than 600,000, okay, or such other amount as may be determined appropriate by the Department of Finance, the financial statement may be certified under oath by the treasurers and the president. Kaya lumalabas dito, kapag ang asset or liabilities is less than 600,000, hindi kailangan ng audited financial statement. Pwedeng certification under oath lang, okay, ng corporate treasurer and the president. Okay, tingnan nyo yung threshold amount niya kasi okay, binago yan. Okay, now let us proceed now sa merger or consolidation. Ito, hindi naman, ang tinatanong lang before sa merger consolidation, laging tinatanong lang dito, voting requirement. Okay, halimbawa, this is A corporation, this is B corporation. Okay, may natira either si A or si B. May surviving either si A or B. We call it merger. Pero kung halimbawa si A corporation to, B corporation to, nawala silang parehas kasi nag-create kayo ng new corporation na si C. Ito yung tinatawag na consolidation. Okay, ngayon, ang sabi kasi ng batas, bago kayo mag-enter ng plan of merger or plan of consolidation, dapat meron daw itong approval ng majority ng BOD plus at least 2/3 ng outstanding capital stock ng both corporation. Kaya ganun din dito, majority ng BOD plus 2/3 ng outstanding capital stock. Okay? Now, yan ang lagi natatanong, voting requirement. At ang pangalawang natatanong dito, yung legal effect ng merger sa consolidation. By the way, kung ito ay merger kasi, kunwari ang surviving si A, yung separate legal personality kasi ni B, mawawala. At lahat ng asset and liabilities ni B, a-absorb lang siya ng surviving corporation without any further act or deed. Automatic siya. Ngayon kung halimbawa ito naman ay consolidation, yung separate legal personality ni A, yung separate legal personality ni B, madi-dissolve, mawawala. Kasi mag-create kayo ng new separate legal personality for the consolidated corporation. And all asset and liability nito, ma-extinguish, mawawala. Okay, yung asset liability nito ni A saka asset liability ni B, okay, automatic i-absorb lang siya nung consolidated corporation without any further act or deed. Kaya ito yung lumalabas na effect ng merger consolidation. The merger consolidation shall have the following effect daw. The constituent corporation shall become single corporation, which in case of merger shall be the surviving corporation. Kaya pag merger, may surviving. Itong si A. Pero pag consolidation, walang surviving kasi mag-create kayo ng new corporation. Ang tawag ay consolidated corporation. Okay, kaya nakalagay yan, in case of consolidation shall be the consolidated corporation designated in the plan of consolidation. Sabi dyan, the separate existence ng constituent corporation shall cease daw. Mawawala silang parehas except in case of merger, yung surviving. Pero pagdating sa consolidation, parehas mawawala, pero makikreate yung tinatawag na consolidated corporation. Sabi dyan, the surviving or the consolidated corporation shall possess all the right, privileges, immunities, and powers and shall be subject to all duties and liability of a corporation organized under this code. Yung letter A, mapapansin mo, ito yung mga asset. Ito naman yung mga liability na i-absorb. Kaya sabi ko nga dito sa illustration kanina, kung si B ang surviving si A, lahat ng asset and liability nito, automatic a-absorb lang ng surviving corporation na si A. Pero dito naman sa consolidation, lahat ng asset nito, lahat ng liability nito, automatic i-absorb lang siya ng consolidated corporation without any further act or deed. Now, punta tayo sa another favorite question sa board exam, yung appraisal right. Ano nga ibig sabihin ng appraisal right? Ito yung right ng stockholders na mag-demand ng return of capital at fair market value in case nag-oppose sila sa isang proposed corporate action mentioned under section 60 ngayon. Dati section section 81 to ng Batas Pambansa bilang 68. Now, hindi 42 ay mama-explain kung ano yung 42 na yun. Sabi niyan, any stockholder of a corporation shall have the right to dissent and demand payment of fair value of shares in the following instances. Una, amendment ng Article of Incorporation. Pero emphasize ko, hindi lahat ng amendment ng Article of Incorporation would entitle the stockholder to exercise appraisal right. Kailangan kasama dito sa tatlo. Kasi halimbawa, nag-amend ka ng Article of Incorporation for change ng corporate name. Walang appraisal right dyan. Kaya dito una, amendment ng Article of Incorporation na may effect daw sa changing or restricting the right of any stockholder or class of share. Kaya kung inamend yung article, tinanggalan ng existing right yung mga stockholders, then pwede kayo mag-exercise ng appraisal right. O kaya nagkaroon ng amendment ng Article of Incorporation, nag-create kayo ng preference shares na may binigay na certain right na hindi na-enjoy ng existing stockholder. At pangatlo, nag-amend ng Article of Incorporation for extension or shortening corporate term. Kaya ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng amendment ng article would entitle the stockholder to exercise appraisal right. Pangalawa, sale, lease, exchange, pledge ng all or substantially all ng corporate property. Kaya pag hindi naman siya sale ng all or substantially all, okay, walang appraisal right. In fact, hindi kailangan ng stockholders approval because that is within the power ng board of director lang. Merger consolidation, saka investment ng corporate fund. Pero dapat other than primary purpose. By the way, class, pag binasa mo yung section 81 before ng BP 68, hindi kasama to. Pero kahit hindi yan binanggit sa section 81 ng BP 68, kasama rin yan eh. Kasi makikita mo yan sa section 42. Na kapag yan ay investment ng corporate fund other than for primary purpose, it means, okay, pwedeng mag-exercise ng appraisal right yung stockholder. Pero by virtue of Republic Act 11232 under section 60 is specifically nakalagay na siya sa enumeration. Okay, unlike doon sa BP 68, hindi siya kasama doon sa enumeration. Okay. Ngayon, punta tayo sa procedure. Ito, hindi masyadong tinatanong. Pero by the way, ano bang procedure? Ang una kasi dyan, ganito. Okay, magkakaroon ng stockholders meeting yan kasi kasama sa enumeration yun eh. Bawa, merong merger, plan of merger consolidation. Ang una mong dapat gawin, pag nandun ka sa meeting, kailangan mong mag-oppose. Kasi pag nag-vote ka in favor, hindi ka pwedeng mag-exercise ng appraisal right. Biro mo, boboto-boto ka, tapos bigla ka mag-withdraw. Kaya dapat mag-oppose ka. Tapos pangalawa, kailangan gumawa ka ng written demand within 30 days daw, okay, for the demand for the return of capital. Kasi otherwise, that is the waiver on your part. Okay, tapos next, okay, ang gagawin ko, iso-surrender ko yung certificate of stock. Okay, so surrender mo yung certificate of stock. Ngayon, ang sabi ng batas class, pag halimbawa, hindi raw nagkasundo within 60 days. Okay, upon approval ng Corporate Act. Kasi tandaan nyo, iba ang interest ng stockholder, iba yung interest ng corporation. Kasi yung corporation gustong bayaran ka ng mababa, si stockholder naman gusto niyang bayaran siya ng mataas. Kaya kung hindi magkasundo yung corporation saka yung withdrawing stockholder, kung magkano ba yung fair market value ng shares of stock, then mapipilitan kayong mag-appoint ng tatlong disinterested person. Isang in-appoint ng stockholder, isang in-appoint ng korporasyon, at isang in-appoint ng dalawang na-appoint. Okay, at yung decision daw dito ng tatlong disinterested person is final. Now, meron tinanong sa bar exam before, pwede bang i-appoint ng stockholder ang kanyang legal wife as one of the three disinterested person? The answer of course is no. Sapagkat yung wife ay ano mo yan eh, okay, interested party siya. Kaya hindi pwedeng i-appoint ng stockholder yung legal wife niya para maging isa doon sa mga tatlong disinterested person. Ngayon question, sino magbabayad ng appraisal cost dyan? Hindi naman libre yan. General rule, ang dapat magbayad niyan is corporation. Pero may exception. However, if the value determined by the three disinterested person is approximately the same as the value offered by the corporation, in that case, the stockholder will pay the appraisal cost. Ngayon, dapat may balance kayo ng unrestricted retained earnings. Kasi baka mamaya, present lahat itong ginawa nyo, wala naman pala kayong balance ng unrestricted retained earnings, hindi pa rin kayo pwedeng mag-acquire ng company's own share. Kasi violation yan ng trust fund doctrine. Okay, sabi dyan, upon payment daw ng corporation of the agreed or awarded price, the stockholder shall forthwith transfer his shares to the corporation. Now, sabi dito, from the time of demand for payment of the fair value of stockholder shares until either the abandonment of the corporate action involved or the purchase of the said shares by the corporation, all rights accruing to such shares, including voting and dividend right, shall be suspended in accordance with the provision of this code. Tandaan nyo ganito ha. Ang ibig sabihin lang, halimbawa, merong meeting ngayon, plan of merger, nag-oppose ka. Gumawa ka ng written demand within 30 days. Sinurrender mo yung certificate of stock. Ang sabi kasi ng batas dito, once nag-exercise ka ng appraisal right, lahat ng right mo stockholders suspended raw, including the right to dividend. Okay, lahat ng right mo, right to inspect corporate books and records, okay, right to vote, the right to be voted, lahat ng right mo stockholders suspended raw once nag-exercise ka ng appraisal right, except may naiwang isa, yung right mo na mag-demand ng fair market value ng shares of stock. Pero ang problema, ang sinasabi ng batas kasi dito, kapag halimbawa, upon award raw hindi ka binayaran within 30 days, lahat daw ng right mo as stockholders immediately restored siya. At yung dividend na naka-accrued, entitled ka. Kaya yan yung sinasabi dito, pag di ka nabayaran within 30 days. Kasi di ba sabi ko sa iyo, once nag-exercise ang appraisal right, wala ka ng right as stockholder. Isa lang ang naiwan mong right, mag-demand ng return of capital at fair market value. Pero kung hindi ka nabayaran within 30 days after the award, then lahat ng voting and dividend right mo immediately restored. Now, sabi dyan, no demand for payment under this title may be withdrawn unless the corporation consent thereto. If, however, such demand for payment is withdrawn with the consent ng corporation, or if the proposed corporate action is abandoned or rescinded by the corporation, or disapproved by the commission where such approval is necessary, or if the commission determines that such stockholder is not entitled to the appraisal right, then the right of stockholders to be paid, the fair value of shares shall cease, and the status as the stockholder shall be restored, and all dividend distribution which would have accrued on the shares shall be paid to the stockholder. Now, kasi ang ibig sabihin lang yan ganito, halimbawa, plan of merger. Ang problema, may appraisal right ka. Later on, nung sinubmit sa SEC, dinisapprove. Restored ang right mo stockholder. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng mag-exercise ng appraisal right kapag dinisapprove yung plan of merger or consolidation. Now, next. Now, sinong dapat mag-bear ng cost of appraisal? By the way, binanggit ko sa inyo kanina yan. General rule, ang dapat magbayad ng appraisal cost is the corporation. Ang exception lang, however, if the value determined by the three disinterested person is approximately the same as the value offered by the corporation, then the stockholder will pay the appraisal cost. Ang reason kasi dyan, baka naman kasi sobra-sobra yung hinihingi ng stockholder. Bawang offered price kunwari ng corporation is 50 pesos per share. Sabi ng stockholder, no, 50 pesos, 500 to. Di napilitan kayong ipa-value, ipa-appraise. Ang problema, yung determination ng tatlong disinterested person is only for 50 pesos or 50.50 or 51. Ang dapat magbayad ng appraisal cost dyan is the stockholders. Kasi lumalabas, okay, masyado kasing malaking hiningi niya, kaya napilitan kayong ipa-appraise yung shares. Okay, now, pagdating sa non-stock, hindi ko na i-expand dong non-stock. Balikan mo lang yung distinction between stock and non-stock. Kasi kung wala naman siyang difference, okay, ibig sabihin yung provision sa stock equally applicable sa non-stock corporation. Kaya ito lang yung medyo okay sa mga nabago dun. Syempre, yung terms of office ng trustee, ganun pa din, 3 years. Not more than 3 years, syempre. Basta 3, pwedeng i-set na 3 years yan. Pero nawala kasi itong 1/3, yung 1/3 na to. Binura yan sa Republic Act 11232. Kasi dati may ganyang provision sa Batas Pambansa bilang 68. Actually, minention ko na yan. Ngayon, ano yung purpose ng non-stock? Yun nga, charitable, religious, educational, professional, cultural, fraternal, literary, scientific, social, civic service, similar purposes. Like trade, industry, agricultural, and like chambers or any combination. Okay, now, punta naman tayo sa closed corporation. Itong mga closed corporation, di masyadong tinatanong yan. Non-stock, hindi masyadong tinatanong. Foreign corporation, hindi masyadong tinatanong. Religious corporation, lalong hindi tinatanong. Kaya actually yung majority or bulk ng question sa corporation law, doon sa mga naunang na-discuss natin before. Sabi dyan, ano ba yung closed corporation? Ito yung corporation na nakalagay sa Article of Incorporation na okay, dapat ang maximum corporators is not more than 20. Okay? Pangalawa, meron siyang restriction on transfer. Kaya ibig sabihin, hindi nyo pwedeng i-transfer ang shares sa closed corporation. Kasi meron siyang restriction on transfer. Kaya dito, pwede nyo i-compel yung corporation na bilhin mismo yung shares nyo. Okay? At pangatlo, the corporation shall not list in the stock exchange. For obvious reason. Hindi mo pwedeng i-list sa stock exchange yan. Kasi pag na-list na sa stock exchange yan, magiging transferable yan. Di ba pag close nga is meron siyang restriction on transfer na naka-indicate doon sa Article of Incorporation saka sa Certificate of Stock. Kaya sabi dito, corporation thou shall not be deemed a closed corporation when at least 2/3 is voting or voting right is owned or controlled by another corporation which is not a closed corporation with the meaning of this code. Kasi possible na ganito eh. Halimbawa, eto si X corporation. Okay, close. Ang problema, may mga stockholders siya. Si Y corporation to. Not more than 20 to. Kaso ito, open. May hawak siya dito kunwari na 2/3 ng OS. Kaya lumalabas kung ito ay open, open na rin to. Kasi otherwise magkakaroon kayo ng circumvention of the law. Ito na tanong dati sa board exam, meron tayong mga corporation na hindi pwedeng i-organize as close. And I'm referring to the BPI MOSEC. Bank, public utilities, insurance company. Mining, oil companies, stock exchange, educational corporation, and corporation imbued with public interest. Okay? Yan, dapat dito, lahat ito, open corporation lang. Bawal siyang i-organize as close. By the way, class, pagdating kasi sa close corporation, pwedeng ang mag-manage class ng close corporation is direct, it can be managed directly by the stockholder. Provided nakalagay lang ito sa article of incorporation. Okay? Now, sabi dyan, so long as this provision continues in effect, no meeting of stockholder need be called to elect director. Hindi nyo kailangan mag-elect ng director kung nakalagay sa article na i-manage directly ng stockholders yung closed corporation. Provided the stockholder of the corporation shall be deemed to be director for purpose of applying the provision of the scope, unless the context clearly requires otherwise. Provided further that the stockholder of a corporation shall be subject to all liabilities ng director. Mapapansin mo, okay, pwedeng ma-incurred ng stockholder yung threefold duty ng director or trustee. Yung duty of obedience, duty of loyalty, and duty of diligence. Now, the article of incorporation may likewise provide that all officers or employees or that specified officer or employee shall be elected or appointed by the stockholder instead of by the board of director. Kasi di ba ang general rule sa open corporation, ang nag-elect or nag-appoint sa officers is the board. Okay? Ang nag-elect sa board is the stockholder. Pero dito sa closed corporation, same as non-stock. Pwedeng ang mangyari, pwedeng i-elect ng okay, stockholders mismo, okay kung sino ang magiging officers. Okay? Pero dapat nakalagay yan sa article of incorporation. Okay? Okay, ito naman sa Edu Corporation. Siguro ito lang tandaan nyo. Ito yung corporation class na ang number of trustee is okay, must be in multiple of 5. Tapos ang numbers niya not less than 5 but not more than 15. Samantalang pag ordinary corporation kasi, di ba, not more than 15, walang nilagay na minimum. Pero syempre, technically, it should be at least 2. Kasi I repeat, yung 1 is with respect to a sole corporation. Pero ito, 5 to 15 pa rin. Tapos dapat, in multiple of 5 siya. Kaya ibig sabihin, dapat ang number of trustee dito, dapat 5, 10, 15. Hindi pwedeng 6, 7, 8, 9, saka 11, 12, 13, 14. Tapos mapapansin mo, na-retain to 1/5 ng number nila mag-expire every year. Halimbawa, there are 15 trustee. Yung unang set of 3 dyan, 1 year lang ang terms of office. Another set of 3, 2 years ang terms of office. Another set of 3, 3 years. Another set of 3, 4. Another set of 3 is 5. Then after that, lahat sila, 1 year na lang ang terms. Okay? Lahat sila, ang mangyayari dyan, 5 years ang terms of office. Kasi every year, mawawala yung 1/5 ng number ng trustee. Okay, sabi dyan, for institution organized as stock corporation, the number and term of directors shall be governed by the provision of stock corporation. Ito namang religious, walang kwentang provision to, pero natanong na isang beses tong corporation soul. Pero ang natanong kasi dito, kasi tandaan nyo, exception to the general rule yan eh. Kasi ang religious corporation, dalawa eh, corporation soul saka religious society. Now, minention ko before na kailan nga magko-commence ang legal personality ng private corporation organized under this code? Answer, from the time of the issuance ng certificate of incorporation by the second official seal. Pero syempre, exception to. Kasi pagdating sa corporation soul, although inorganized under general law yan, magko-commence ang legal personality nila from the time of filing ng article of incorporation before the SEC. Kaya kapag binasa mo, sabi dyan, from and after the filing with the SEC of the said articles of incorporation, such chief archbishop, bishop, priest, minister, rabbi, or presiding elder shall become a corporation soon. Okay, and of course, second is the religious society. Okay, hindi masyadong tinatanong sa board exam yan kasi wala namang masyadong relationship yan. Biro magte-take ka ng board exam tapos religious corporation yung pinag-uusapan. Okay. By the way, break muna tayo. Okay, gagawa na ako ng another or separate video. Okay. Thank you.